Well, they lost, of course, as you mentioned, to Inter last season at the San Siro in November. Alvin Martin, what will Inter bring to the party tonight? Your finalists, of course, before they succumbed in that 5-0 hammering to PSG last time out. There's some experience, there's some young players, but you know when you go to Italy it's always going to be a tough task. Yeah, and especially when you go there and the team that you're facing is in great form, and they are, aren't they? You know, before that loss to Liverpool, they'd gone 18 in the Champions League unbeaten at home. You know, that tells you how hard this is going to be for Arsenal tonight. But look, they've won 5 of the last 6. They're flying. I think the big thing for me tonight, Adam, is, you know, they need to win this game more than Arsenal. Yeah, and you sometimes look at the desire to win a game and the extra 2 or 3%. Is it going to be there for Arsenal? We should find out. Look, he's talked about desire, commitment, all them things all season, and we've seen it in Arsenal. But tonight, Inter will certainly ask a lot of questions. They will, of course. All things Italian football get discussed every Sunday evening. All the lowdown, all the big stories from across European football on Trans Euro Express with Danny Kelly and Andy Brassell from 9 o'clock. Also available as a podcast as well, should you miss the live show. You can listen to it now on the Talksport app or via your favourite podcast platforms. I promise you, if you want to keep across European football, it is the show to listen to. You're listening to the Champions League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it, book now at enterprise.co.uk. The teams arrive to that familiar music, of course. The prelude to the full Champions League theme once more. The Champions League logo is stretched out on the centre circle and rumbled vociferously in time with the music as these Arsenal players, they're only the tallest of sides, that aside from Moreno, Gabriel and Mosquera, line up alongside their counterparts, and the man in charge today, João Pinheiro from Portugal, who will look after this evening's proceedings. And this Inter side, who, as we say, sits 6th in the table, winning their first 4, but they do need to get back to winning ways in this competition, as they are yet to secure a place in the knockout stages. A win would do that tonight, but of course they, like Arsenal, want to ensure they finish in the top 8 and don't have those 2 playoff games to play next month. Quick reminder of the 2 sides as they greet each other warmly with high fives here in the San Siro. Raya is in goal for Arsenal. The back 4, Timber, Saliba, Mosquera and Luis Skelly. The midfield 3 of Eza, Zubamendi and Moreno. And then it's Trossard and Saka supporting Jesus, who is up front without a Champions League goal since November 2023 for the 28-year-old Brazilian, of course, who joined from Manchester City back in 2022. As for Inter, Sommer is in goal. Back 3, Bastoni, Acerbi, Akanji make up the back 3 for them tonight. DeMarco and Enrique are the 2 wing-backs. Sucic, Zielinski and Barella in central midfield, with Martinez and Thuram up top for Christian Chievu's side. And we mentioned they are top of Serie A. Only defeat in that competition came against Milan in the derby back in November, losing on that occasion by 1-0. And it's Saka who will wear the armband tonight for Arsenal, who, no surprise, are in their traditional red shirts, white shorts. Away to our right-hand side, and their red socks too, and that's the way they're going to stay. Inter in the traditional blue shirts and the black stripes as well. We are almost ready to go. Alvin, would you expect the kind of tempo of this game to be kind of manifested, if anything, by the Italians playing at their tempo, a bit more relaxed, or do the 2 styles actually quite suit each other at times?
Well, I think we've got 2 tight defences, there's no doubt about that, Adam. But look, I think Inter will really go for it. I think the first 15 minutes of this game, they'll really go for the throws of Arsenal, try and unsettle them, get the crowd on side, because there's a fantastic atmosphere and they'll want to see that continued. But look, it's about really Arsenal coping with that, being good enough mentally and, you know, technique-wise, keeping the ball at crucial times, taking the sting out of the game. All of those things, these aren't just, you know, really talented footballers, they're intelligent footballers.
They are. Lautaro Martinez up top, of course, World Cup winner for Argentina, 64th Champions League appearance tonight. He's been in terrific goal-scoring form at home in this competition, which he will certainly look to try and continue this evening, that's for sure. And immediately it's David Raya who will launch it forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Here's Trossard over the top. Eze helps on its way. Jesus is there inside the box, spins away and comes out to Luis Skelly, who hits an early shot. Second one comes in from Moreno, both of them blocked inside the penalty area. And then there's a foul in the D at the edge of the box, which will warrant a free kick to Inter, but almost the absolute perfect start for Arsenal.
Well, they played from the kick-off really back to Raya, and he just piled it down that right hand side really deep. They made it really difficult for Inter to clear it, and they were all over it. They committed people forward because they knew what was going to happen. Balls were flicked on around the edge of the box. There were a couple of blocks that went in there, but a really dangerous start from Arsenal.
Could have been the perfect opener for the evening. However, a couple of really good blocks from Inter denying them on this occasion. And it's on that far side, Arsenal again at the edge of the penalty area. Saka trying to work it through, and Inter just struggling to get away from their own box. This is an excellent start. Here's Timber round the outside on that far side. Sliding challenge had to come in that time from Bastoni, who did well to win it back for Inter, and now a counter may be for them. Martinez, and the ball's picked up by Saka. Saka down that right hand side. Charge on here. Jesus is in the middle, but the pass in the end from Timber wasn't good enough. It's intercepted, and Sommer will clear it out for Inter, but straight to Marino on that far side. Forward it goes to Saka. Saka right edge of the box. Jesus tries to come in to that 6-yard area. Couldn't quite get his toe on it, and Inter will try and clear in that right back position on this near side. What a start this is for Arsenal, not letting Inter out their own penalty area in the opening 2 minutes.
Well, they're just playing really high up the pitch, and Inter are struggling to cope with it. They're really putting them under pressure. They've tried to clear balls at times, and they've won that ball back and got straight at them, Arsenal. It's a really fast start for them.
Mosquera on halfway comes to meet Thuram out wide on that left hand side. Suchik coming forward on support from Dimarco, which he gets on that far touchline for Inter. Forward on that left hand side, a couple of passes, and then the introduction of Bastoni once more, and it's with Acerbi inside the centre circle. Over to this right hand side where it's picked up again by Akanji, who's on loan, of course, from Manchester City. He was asked yesterday in the press conference about the idea of returning to Manchester City with our injury crisis at the back while he's here on loan, but he said he's not returning this winter, that's for sure. Probably likes the winter weather in Milan a little more than Manchester, I think, if we're honest. Left hand side with Bastoni towards halfway. He's a former Champions League winner, of course, with Manchester City, is Manuel Akanji. Inter have it on halfway. First bit of sustained possession they've had, and now they're trying to turn that into pressure. Enrique, the Brazilian, down this right hand side, straight to the feet though of Luis Skelly. He goes back inside, picked up by Zubamendi, who's been impressive. The numbers stack up very well for him in this Champions League so far for Arsenal. He's been a superb addition to that midfield, just taking some of the pressure off of Declan Rice at times as well in that holding role. Talking of pressure, Trossard's under all sorts at the edge of his own box. Well played. Well, very calm, wasn't he? Timber to Saka on that far side. Saka on the charge towards the edge of the box on that favoured left foot of his. Edge of the penalty area. Saka gets the shot away, deflected in the air, and Sommer has to gather high above his head.
Well, the pace of this game is incredible. It really is, from both sides, but especially Arsenal. They've taken the game straight to Inter Milan, and Inter Milan have been ruffled. They've got out, and they are looking like a side that with a real belief in what they're trying to do here at Arsenal.
And when you consider there's 7 changes tonight, I mean, the way they just gel together, this squad.
I think there's only Jesus that hasn't been prominent, in terms of playing games for Arsenal. It's still got a look of familiarity about it, and that's the great thing about having this sort of calibre of squad that he's got to pick from.
Yeah, 5th Champions League start tonight for Mosquera this season at the heart of that defence, partly due to injury, but partly at times because Mikel Arteta has a lot of faith in the 21-year-old Spaniard. Talking of Spaniards, there's Zubamendi to the right-hand side to Timber. On that far touchline, it's Bukayo Saka on the charge here. Slips a lovely ball into the box. Taken in his run by Gabriel Jesus, who gets a crossover and it's deflected behind and out for what will be a corner to Arsenal on that right-hand side.
Well, they're playing with so much belief and confidence, and it doesn't matter if they've got an Inter Milan player ready to close them down. They're saying, give me the ball, I feel confident. When an Arsenal player gets the ball, he's got options all over the pitch. Everybody wants the ball and everybody's together. A complete team here.
They've lost just 2 of their last 27 in the group or league phase of the Champions League have Arsenal. It's their 3rd campaign in a row, of course, after a little hiatus. Semi-finalists last season, the best they've managed since 2008, 2009, and desperate to go one better this time round on all fronts this season. Saka has the corner on the far side, the Arsenal right, left-footed in, swinging towards the near post and towards Mosquera, and there was a little nudge, I think, from Mosquera at the near post that time on Acerbi, who goes down, and it is going to be a free kick.
There wasn't too much in it though, Adam. I hope he's not going to keep giving needless stoppage fouls for these sort of things, because it'll disrupt the flow of the game, and it has flowed, doesn't it? The first 6 minutes has been a very good 6 minutes for Arsenal.
Who'd have thought that former England centre-half Alvin Martin would have found that a little bit soft? No surprise there. 6 minutes played, Inter 0, Arsenal 0 on Talksport 2. Reminder, over on Talksport you can catch the game between Tottenham Hotspur and Borussia Dortmund at I was going to say White Hart Lane then. I bet they wish they could go back there, given how the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium's been playing for them recently. However, that game's live over on Talksport right now. We've got more Champions League action for you tomorrow night with a double header as well, with Marseille against Liverpool, and of course we've got PSV in action tomorrow night up at St James's Park.
I'm just looking at the way Inter have set up, and they really are trying to get into the faces of Arsenal. But Arsenal are willing to receive balls while they're under pressure, and they're beating the press, and they're supremely confident on the ball. They've come here. I think there are times when English teams will come to a place like this and be a little bit intimidated and maybe play safe. That's not shown itself. They're a team that have come here not just to sort of quieten the crowd down. They've come here to look for the first goal.
A team that's in full spirit right now, given the run of form that they're on throughout this campaign. They've lost only 2 games all season in all competition.
My word. Sorry, Adam. As you were they're talking there, Saka's had a little arm that's gone into the face, really. It's on the Giorgio Di Marco, and there's nothing in it. But the referee's gone over there and said that it's an elbow. I don't think he's got a card out, but you just play on with that. You really do.
Well, I was going to say that I think there's more an instance that Di Marco was having a little nibble with his boot at the legs of Saka on that occasion, but the referee's seen it the other way. Gloves have been donned by Nicolo Barella, about 5 degrees in Milan this evening. Throwing on this right-hand side for last year's runners-up. Heaviest defeat ever in a Champions League final, of course, that 5-0 demolition at the hands of PSG. They've responded well, though, top of Serie A. 3 points clear of side who, of course, share the city and share the stadium with them, AC Milan. Eze is fouled there. Referee again keeping his card in his pocket. The challenge from Zielinski is punished, but not with a yellow card, and it will be a free kick for Arsenal just short of halfway. Good opening 8 or so minutes for the North London side. To the right hand side, forward comes Jurrien Timber to the far touchline where he finds Bukayo Saka, who again is edging towards the edge of the penalty area. Timber's there though, gives it back to Saliba, who's in support without his partner Gabriel tonight, who's amongst the substitutes for Arsenal. Here goes Saliba on a charge down that right hand side. Opportunity to cross has probably gone now, and he'll give it short to Saka instead, and works back out to Zubamendi, who's forever busy. Most passes to break lines in the Champions League so far this season from Zubamendi. Lovely bit of interplay off Lewis Skelly, left-footed shot from Timber, and poked home by Gabriel Jesus to give Arsenal the lead. He's waited over 2 years to find the back of the net in the Champions League, and he falls to his knees in celebration. But Gabriel Jesus gives Arsenal the advantage inside 10 minutes in the San Siro. Inter 0, Arsenal 1.
Well, they've come here, been adventurous, looked to really get at Milan, and now they've got the reward for it. Great play, the ball's been fizzed about in the penalty area. The first strike wasn't great, but Jesus reads it. A poacher gets onto it and gets a great contact on the ball to make it 1-0.
Luis Enrique, who is of course a winger by trade, playing as the right wing back in this Inter side, was the player that was playing Jesus onside. VAR of course will have a look, but it's as clear as day. And that's the opener for Arsenal, and Jesus with his 25th Champions League goal in his 53rd appearance tonight. It's good stuff from Jesus.
Well, he's a player that, you know, out of all the Arsenal players, needs game time, and I was a little worried, you know, that maybe he was going to be fit, obviously, but was he going to be sharp enough, you know, at this level, Champions League level? Well, that's a great sign, isn't it, when you see him react, poach, and read that situation quicker than any other player.
He loves a goal, does Gabriel Jesus, and scoring on the road in the Champions League, something he's not been familiar with. The celebration said it all, really. It's away by Raya, up towards halfway. Header in the air. Here's Trossard, who tries to take it down. He's dispossessed on this near side, and it will be a throw on this left-hand touchline for Arsenal midway inside their own.
Isn't it great to see an English team, though, come to Italy in a place like the San Siro and attack them with this sort of discipline and technique and skill? Obviously a lot of hard work still to come here, but what a great start.
It really is. Good control by Saka, or slip with the outside of his boot towards Timber, and Jesus again down that right hand side. They're on the charge here, full of confidence. Arsenal attacking down that far touchline. Bukayo Saka on again once more on that far side, just controlled and brought down by Saliba. They keep the ball, they adventure forward, they get to the edge of the box. If they need to go back to halfway, they've got the calmness and the assurance in their back line to do that.
Yep. And you can see now, Adam, Inter just sitting off them a little bit. I think they're a bit stunned. I don't think they expected Arsenal to be as good as this.
Here's Saliba switching play from the right hand side to the left, trying to pick out Trossard, who made the run, but Akanji had that covered and just chests it down back to Jan Sommer, who's in the Inter goal away to our left hand side. Failed to score twice this season, Inter, in all competitions. One of those was in the Champions League, the game against Liverpool, and in that derby defeat to AC Milan. So they do find the back of the net fairly frequently. They're going to have to try and find an equaliser here. Early stages, 12 minutes gone, Inter 0, Arsenal 1.
Well, they're not used to conceding either, Inter Milan. They've had 4 out of the last 6 games have had clean sheets, so it's really difficult to score against them, and Arsenal certainly have got the 1 goal already, and maybe could have had more than one. They've caused a lot of problems in that back line.
This game is brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. We have 13 minutes, Inter 0, Arsenal 1. Wide on this right hand side, looking to cut infield is Enrique, and he was playing in Jesus, or putting him into an onside position after Luis Skelly's shot took a deflection. Cherby, forward it goes towards Thuram, who gets his first touch. That's a short back pass towards Raya, who was on his toes and alert to the danger and managed to get there first, and then the offside flag is up against Jesus, and it will be a free kick for Inter, just short of the centre circle away to our left hand side.
Well, Inter are struggling to string any sort of passes together. That's a great ball, though.
It is down that left hand side for Thuram. He's trying to get the better of Mosquera. He just tries to slide it across the edge of the 6-yard box, but Martinez was nowhere near close enough to get to that ball, and it's gathered quite comfortably by Raya. But there's a little warning sign for Arsenal. These two do offer plenty up top. Thuram, plenty of experience between the two of them. Spurs are in front in the other game over on Talksport. Christian Romero on target again, scored against West Ham on Saturday, so they lead against Borussia Dortmund at home in a game that you feel they must win. If you want to listen to that tonight, of course, the Talksport app's the best way to do that. You can switch between the two games depending on what your North London preference is. Plenty of video content available as well on the app, and your chance to listen to some of the other radio stations on the Talksport family, including Virgin Radio, of course, with the Chris Evans Breakfast Show. Lovely little turn around the corner from Thuram. Enrique's away down this right-hand side. Pressure here on Lewis Skelly to defend. Enrique gets it into the penalty spot and is blocked out by the returning Saliba. Back out again to Enrique on this near side. Short to Akanji. Best moment of the game so far from Inter. And they go square to Bastoni, who will come forward 25 yards out on his left foot. Thinks about a shot, but then I think he hoped that Federico Di Marco would be in a slightly better position to receive the ball, but it come infield into a channel that was fairly congested. Di Marco's got it now though, left-footed ball across the edge of the box, and it's away from the advancing Borella and out on this near side for a throw to Arsenal.
Well, just a couple of signs there, Adam, that Arsenal, as well as they've been playing in this first 15 minutes, they've been brilliant in my opinion. They've got to respect this opponent. We're just seeing a couple of quick breaks there. They do have talent and they do have pace up front.
There will be moments that Inter do cause problems, there's no doubt about it. They're the highest scorers at home in Serie A, and only Roma and Como have conceded fewer at home, so scoring here is difficult. Arsenal have completed that part. It's also fairly difficult to stop Inter from scoring, and that looks like that's going to be the real challenge for tonight for Mikel Arteta's side. It is a fourth meeting in the Champions League between these two sides, as we mentioned. November 2024, it was a win here for Inter by 1-0. The time they met here prior, Arsenal won 5-1. Here's Thuram with a chance to shoot, and Arsenal almost got caught in possession at the edge of their own penalty area and almost paid the price for it on that occasion. This is picked up now. There's a handball there. I think Jesus has been penalised. Kanji was on the ground as well, and the free kick goes into his way.
There's just apologising there. He got caught in possession. There's not happened very often that in this first 15 minutes. The Arsenal players have all moved the ball. They haven't let Inter Milan get anywhere near them, but he just got caught on the ball there, and they're just starting to feel a little bit of rhythm come into their team here at Inter. You can see they've got better possession. They are playing more in Arsenal's half.
Slightly having the better of the possession so far, Arsenal. 17 minutes in here on Talksport 2 and leading by 1-0. Spurs are in front over on Talksport as well, so good start to the game for the two sides of North London. There's a lovely ball through. Thuram trying to get the shot away. It was delightful. The first one's blocked. Runs quite nicely that time towards Borella. It's blocked again, but it's not missed this time. Petr Sucic into the top corner and into a level. Sloppy from Arsenal, and the advantage taken with a delightful finish from just inside the penalty area. Not much David Raya could do about that, and with almost 18 minutes played, it's Inter 1, Arsenal 1.
Wow, what a strike. This is a thunderbolt. Right foot, top corner, no keeper in the world is saving this. Thuram was the one that looked like he was going to get the shot away. A great tackle stopped him, but the ball come out to the edge of the box, and he's really thundered that with the inside of his right boot. The power he got from it was incredible. What a finish.
He's managed to put that round Zubimendi. I think Ryan may have seen it a little bit late because of the positioning of Zubimendi, and it has gone into that top corner, and many would say he's one of the best keepers in the world. Didn't even get close to it.
Well, we said that there'd just been a couple of signs, Adam, that they were just starting to feel a bit more rhythm coming to their play. They were starting to get better possession, starting to keep the ball better, and Arsenal maybe looked like they were just starting to get a little bit jittery around the edge of the box, and now 1-1. What a game we've got on here.
First Champions League goal of the season for Sukic, and it's to the edge of the box again for Trossard as they look to respond immediately here. Arsenal takes a deflection, comes to Eza, who gets a snapshot away. No deflection though. I think Eza thought there was a deflection, but in the end it's just wide of the right hand post, and it will be a goal kick for Inter.
Well, that could have gone anywhere, couldn't it? And again, Arsenal are getting so many people forward. Whenever they get the ball in, with control ball into the front, whether it be Jesus or anybody, they want to support it. They want to help that player. They're not leaving, their single players up front isolated. And it's really made for an attacking game. Probably a game much more attacking than they were expecting.
Well, I'll tell you what, Acerbi as well, the way he slid in with that challenge, any bit of contact on Eze could have caused him a problem or two. I guess with one of the reasons that we've not seen much of Lewis Skelly throughout this season on this near side for Arsenal was maybe the lack of defensive qualities he offers. He's obviously a midfielder by trade. It's a almost Pep-like scenario that Arteta's gone for here in turning a midfielder into a full-back, and often likes him to play inverted and tucking into midfield. But against this into front line and the attacking wing-backs and the very talented centre forwards, maybe tonight needs a bit more of a conventional left-back, but we'll see. It was that side that Thuram got down, and now on that right-hand side Saliba has it for Arsenal. 20 minutes played, into 1, Arsenal 1 on Talksport 2. And it's back with Raya at the edge of his own penalty area, who himself will be fairly furious. It's only the second goal they've conceded in this league phase of the Champions League this season. And I forgot to mention earlier that goal from Gabriel Jesus, the 400th European Cup goal for Arsenal. And Jesus gets the accolade of being the man behind the 400th. They'll need 401st tonight if they're going to ensure keeping that 100% record. 6 wins from 6 so far, of course. Mosquera over halfway for Arsenal. Into Trossard, closed down by 3 immediately, one of them being Thuram again. Header away by Zubamendi, not much purchase on it. Comes towards Saka. It's picked up on that far side by DiMarco. And it's back towards his own goal with an outstretched boot by Mikel Moreno and gathered up by Dyer.
It's like two big heavyweight boxers going into a ring here, Adam. And they both punched each other, hit each other with a good shot. And now they're thinking, whoa, they're respecting each other. They're just sitting off each other a bit now.
Well, we know in the past we've seen when teams come to Italian clubs, it can be a bit cagey, very defensive from Inter. I think we saw in the Champions League last season that wasn't how they wanted to approach the Champions League. Far from it. They were box office throughout the campaign. And actually Arsenal scoring early has really kind of made Inter need to go for this, which they are. You're listening to Inter Milan against Arsenal in the Champions League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Deep inside Inter territory. Picked up at the edge of his own penalty area by Jansson. Zielinski to Akanji at the edge of the box. And the Swiss centre-half will, of course, be making his way to the World Cup this summer, as will Talksport and Talksport 2. All 104 games live across the Talksport network. And that's all part of our 500 games live commentaries we're bringing you throughout the season here across Talksport. We're on to about 254 maybe, something like that. Inter 1, Arsenal 1. Midway point of this first half. Inter just trying to press high here, allowing Arsenal to have the ball deep inside their own half, but then as Zubamendi steps forward and we see the mobilisation of these Inter troops. Out to the left they go to Trossard. Trossard tries to get a ball in, it's deflected, comes to Eze. Zubamendi will try and pick that one up as he just gets across to cover. It's a good challenge in the end from Lewis Skelly. Eze wins it, but illegally according to João Pinheiro, and it will be a free kick for Inter just outside the centre circle. I think he's going to be a bit finicky tonight, this referee.
Yeah, I think we'll give them a chance. But I think both teams are just laying off each other a little now. I think it's been such a quick start, Adam. I think both teams have been surprised the way the game's gone now. 1-1. I think they're just waiting to see who's going to make the next move in the game.
Acerbi out wide to the far side where he finds DiMarco. Forward it goes up towards halfway. Thuram was there. again, and then a quick word, I think.
He's just starting to come into the game a little bit now, Adam, isn't he, Thuram? He's getting the ball, he's very aggressive, he doesn't just want to get the ball laid behind and score goals. He's a real team player, he holds the ball up, and even when he's not favourite to win a ball, he nicks it and they go on.
Down that far side on the charge, onto his left foot is Saka, keeping it tidy, gives it to Moreno. Here's Lewis Skelly to the left-hand edge of the box. It's Trossard, closed down by two blue shirts, tries to get the crossover, blocked out on this near touchline by Enrique, and it's a corner.
Enrique, he's a right wing back, and he's somebody that likes to get forward, but really good one-on-one. You can see there Trossard's faced up with him on the ball, and he's half a yard, even less than half a yard away from him, and it's something that attackers hate because it doesn't give him any room to manoeuvre the ball.
One of the least experienced campaigners in the Champions League for this Inter side, having been picked up from Marseille at the start of the season. Fourth appearance this time round. Eza will deliver, right-footed to the near post. It's headed away quite comfortably. No pressure, not the best of deliveries from Eza, who we've not seen much of in recent weeks. However, he's back in favour tonight. One of 7 changes. You've just joined us from the side, which drew 0-0. Forest on Saturday tea time. Zubimendi. And of course, that's ahead of a game coming up this weekend against Manchester United, who will be in high spirits and well rested after that win on Saturday lunchtime against Manchester City live on Talksport. And if you have just switched on, talking of Manchester City, they lost 3-1 tonight. Bodo Glimt, Arctic Circle in Norway. They were 3 down as well. Rodri sent off 2. Not a good night for Manchester City, and now in grave danger of dropping out of the top 8 and potentially having to play those playoff games again like they did last season. Now a counter's on here for Inter, and it's a good counter as well. Thuram's in the middle. Is he going to use him? I don't think he's going to bother. He's going to try and go all the way. Now he uses Thuram, who fires the shot over the crossbar. And I think Petr Suchic's going to think to himself, well, why did I bother?
Well, I thought that maybe Suchic could have got the ball away, had the shot, pulled the trigger earlier there. They were in a great position. They outnumbered Arsenal on the counter, and it was a really, advantageous sort of situation that they didn't make the most of. It eventually came to Thuram, and he should do better. He scoops it over the bar when really he should keep that ball down, hit it hard and low, and give a problem to Raya. But for a player of his standard, not to at least hit the target there, that'd be disappointing.
So trying to go high and wide, I think, into that top corner, and ended up slicing it and way too much power on it. Good opportunity for Inter. Here come Arsenal again. Mikel Moreno to the right-hand side where Saka's waiting. Saka on the charge. He's got Bastoni up against him. Gets to the byline, gets the crossover. It's nodded down by Acerbi. And away up towards halfway where Martinez, wearing the captain's armband, does well and wins the free kick. Although Timber, I think, is fairly insistent that he may have been the player that was fouled.
Yeah, I don't think he's got that right to referee. The most dangerous time for Arsenal is when they're on the attack here, because when they commit people forward and the ball breaks down, they're looking at getting at you straight away into Milan. And we've seen 2 examples of it now where they just fire forward and they really break with speed, and they've cut through Arsenal and opened them up. So they want to score the next goal in the game is important for Arsenal. I accept that, but maybe with a little bit more restraint, keep one person just sitting back. That in the event that you do lose the ball, you can win it back again. Because if you don't, this Inter Milan side have shown they can really break quickly.
They can, and they've scored a terrific equaliser as well. That right-footed effort from Sukic went up into the top corner. It was initially an appeal for a handball against Arsenal. The shot and the goal scored by the Croatian. 13 caps for his country. There's 1 goal to his name so far this season in Serie A. But now he's added a Champions League goal to his tally. 3rd of his Champions League career as well.
Well, just a minute away from the first half an hour, and what a first half an hour. It's been thoroughly entertaining.
Real Madrid are 2 up tonight in the Champions League, and Mbappe adding the second for Real Madrid. Reminder, Spurs are in front by a goal to nil against Borussia Dortmund. That game live on Talksport right now. And a double dose of Champions League action for you tomorrow night too. Marseille against Liverpool is live on Talksport. Newcastle against PSV live here on Talksport 2. All the build-up starts, of course, from 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. Over halfway goes Jurrien Timber on that right-hand side to Saka, who's hugging that far touchline. Back in field he goes to Moreno. Here's Zubimendi, back towards Saliba. Saliba's 15 yards inside the Inter half and spreads play out to that right-hand side again. Saka's on the charge here, trying to get around DeMarco. Does get beyond DeMarco and then tries right-footed to plant across over and across into the 6-yard area. But it's blocked out at the edge of that 6-yard area by Acerbi. And behind for another corner on that far side for Arsenal.
Excellent run there from Saka. You know, he's got one-on-one with DeMarco a couple of times now. DeMarco, and then he's a good defender one-on-one, but he just went past him, pure pace there, electrifying. Just couldn't cut the ball back. There were a lot of blue shirts in front of him, and he couldn't find a red shirt on the cutback. But now he's done that once. I'd like to see him get the ball at him and take DeMarco on again, because that would have certainly rattled the full-back or the wing-back there.
Saka's gone across to deliver the corner. There are 5 Arsenal players now lurking beyond the back post. Only Saliba is inside the 6-yard area. Then the movement comes. Then the ball's delivered to that back post. Trossard keeps it alive into the 6-yard area. Gabriel Jesus again. A second on the night. And the kings of set pieces are crowned once more. And it's Gabriel Jesus, point blank range. And he puts Arsenal back in front with 31 minutes played. What a night for Jesus. What a night so far for Arsenal. It's Inter 1, Arsenal 2.
And what a moment for the set-piece coach. It was incredible. I've never seen a corner like it. There were 5 players on the back post, not looking like they were in play. Then they all ran. They left Trossard at the back. The ball was flown over to the far post. He heads it back into the danger zone. And it's a free header for Jesus. They will be absolutely furious in Milan. They didn't do better there.
Well, I think Inter are trying to say that Trossard didn't keep the ball in play. When he actually headed it across, it's glanced off the crossbar and onto the head of Gabriel Jesus, who could not miss. I don't think there's any doubt about Trossard keeping that ball in. But it's another goal for Jesus. It's another goal for Arsenal. And it's into 1, Arsenal 2.
And it'd be a brave man to try and read which way this game's going to go, Adam, because, a 2-1 now. Are they going to react again into Milan? And credit to Arsenal as well. They got pegged back at 1-1, probably on their heels for 5 minutes, but then they fought their way back into the game. They've kept looking at attacking into Milan, and it's a very brave tactic by Arteta and Arsenal.
Well, Christian Chibu in his press conference yesterday talked about the threat from Arsenal at set pieces. Maybe he could have talked to the team about it a little bit longer, because they've been undone by the set piece kings. And with 12 and a half minutes to go to half time, Mikel Arteta's side have the advantage. Inter, though, have a free kick just short of halfway. Swung out to this right hand side where Sonner's there at the edge of his own penalty area. To say a win for Inter tonight would secure a playoff place. Never suffered 3 losses in a row during the same Champions League season. They did suffer 3 losses previously, but that was cut across 2 campaigns. Here down that left hand side on the charge again is the goal scorer, Petr Sukic, and it's spun out of play on that far side, and it will be a throw in again for...
It's the referee. I think he hit the referee, Adam, and went off. So they're going to restart it.
Inter will have it back, won't they? And they did. Switches again with the ball at feet. Gives it short to Zielinski. Inter happy to keep the ball. Thunderous noise inside the San Siro as they try and drive their team forward. Clipped up towards Thuram at the edge of the penalty area. He can just flick it on. I mean, the one thing you say, Lautaro Martinez is absolutely nowhere near him as he's trying to nod that ball down. Very much a lone figure at that point.
Yeah. I think I think with the tactic that Arsenal have come here with, I mean, they expected Arsenal to take as many risks as they have, and I certainly didn't expect 3 goals in 34 minutes in this game, but 2 really tight defences.
Well, also when you're Inter and you see 7 changes, you must think to yourself, oh, this will be interesting. Here's Lautaro Martinez trying to get a shot away from the edge of the box. It's deflected, and it's come off the backside of Trossard this time, or he's certainly got caught in the backside. Trossard with a flying boot out of Bastoni, and it's going to be a corner for Inter on the far side. What can they do from a set piece? Nicolo Barella has gone across to take it. It's on Inter's left-hand side. He will deliver with his right foot. So this one's swinging in. In fact, he goes short, gives it to Marco, and then it's lifted towards the edge of the 6-yard area where Martinez was there, but ball, says the referee, and it will be a free kick. Martinez just says to the referee, really, are you sure? And the replay confirms it was chest first.
Yeah.
Maybe onto a little bit of the arm, but
I agree.
Not as obvious as
harsh that,
the referee said. Yeah.
I think one of the question marks I had coming into this game was if Arsenal were asked questions and in difficult stages of the game, would they be able to cope without Declan Rice? Because I think he's such a calm and influence, Declan. When the pressure's on, he receives the ball, he talks, he communicates, he leads. But you've got to give him credit. They went a goal up, then they were pegged back 1-1, and they recovered again. So maybe to a certain degree they've answered that question. They've got to do it over 90 minutes though.
You're listening to Inter Milan against Arsenal in the Champions League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it, book now at enterprise.co.uk. Heading towards the final 9 minutes of the first half. Inter 1, Arsenal 2. 2 goals from Gabriel Jesus, giving Arsenal the advantage in that quest for 7 straight wins. They're on the attack again now. Saka at the edge of the box, fires a shot well wide of the right-hand post of Sonner, but it was in that area, that zone, that we're so used to seeing the net ripple when Saka lets fly. Well,
they did exactly what Inter had done to them. Inter were attacking, they committed people forward. When the ball broke, Arsenal then said, right, OK, we'll show you how to counter-attack. And as soon as that ball landed at his feet, Saka, he had a chance maybe of feeding the ball through to a run by Jesus, but I think he'd have been offside. I think he was wise to take the shot on and didn't hit the target.
Well, Mosquera being given him a tough time there by Thuram. Martinez arrives to support. Then Enrique down this right-hand side for Inter, level with the edge of the penalty area. They're on the charge, turns it round the corner looking for Barella, who's made the charge, and that's really good defending that time from Miles Lewis-Skelly, who just deals with Barella quite comfortably. And Arteta, I think, very impressed with what was on show then from his left back.
Well, I think again it's desire. I think Lewis-Skelly there, your shoulder to shoulder, you want the ball more than the opponent, and I think that desire to win the ball has actually got him and his team a goal kick rather than offering them possession or even a corner. It's a big difference, but just pure desire. I think what I notice about Arsenal now, they're a team that work tremendously hard. You can talk about the ability they've got and the calibre of play they've got on the bench tonight, but that's not worth anything without teamwork, without absolute togetherness and work rate. They've got that as well.
And they've got energy because Saliba is charging forward deep inside into Milan territory. Gets it out to the right-hand side where Timber's there. Here's Saka across the 6-yard area again. Akanji comes and meets it at the near post and puts it out for a throw on the far side.
Proper football, this, Adam. This really is top-class football from Arsenal and from Inter, especially from Arsenal though. Some of the movement and the plays is really, really top draw.
Saka again. Zubimendi in the box, holds the ball right at the edge of the penalty area, realises he's got a wall of blue shirts, gives it away to Thuram inside the centre circle. He needs support and it's coming. Enrique's away down the right hand side. Enrique inside the penalty area fires the shot and it's wide of the left hand upright of David Raya. Well, plenty of pace there. He had the pace to beat the Arsenal defence. It was an even race on halfway, but he got the better of Lewis-Skelly and Mosquera and then fires wide.
Well, Thuram again, he's got, I said to you, he's somebody that holds the ball up, he turns, he wants to get the ball in behind, but he knows when to release it, and he released it at exactly the right moment. What a let-off for Arsenal, and especially for Zubimendi, because he just gifted possession back. Played the ball without really looking, and it went straight to Thuram, and I've got to say Thuram has been the pick of the forwards for Inter.
Well, it's surprising for Zubimendi. He's one of those players who throughout this campaign he's top of the stats for possession won. I mentioned it about line-breaking passes. And one of the things that everyone's talked about since he arrived at Arsenal is just the way he keeps the ball, but not on that occasion. Almost lets Arsenal down. Osaka, he's got away from 3 on that far side. It's brilliant. Deflected cross, headed away by Kanji for another corner.
Well, he's been outstanding the last 10 minutes, Adam. On that right-hand side, Saka has been brilliant. He's taken people on, he's kept the ball, he's working tremendously hard in terms of the press. He wants to really work at stopping anyone getting out. He's been outstanding for Arsenal.
He has that rest on Saturday against Forest that he did in the world of good. As Mikel Arteta manages his squad with the quality he's got, it's no great surprise. Now, we've already seen a goal from one Saka set-piece delivery and a Trossard head back across goal. Let's see what we got this time. There's 4 of them round the back post once more. Moreno is at the penalty spot. Saliba is a couple of yards behind the goalkeeper, Jan Sommer. Here's the delivery. What can Sommer do to block this one? Saka in, punches it out, only as far as Eza. DeMarco's there, but I think Sommer has hit the deck and is saying he's been fouled in the process of punching that ball clear, and it will be a free kick.
And he's holding his head there, but I'm sure on the replay we won't see any contact with his head. No, I think somebody did barge into him, and it was a foul, no doubt about it. But as soon as a player then touches his head, a referee sitting in the Champions League is going to stop the game.
Yeah, I think if anything, his chin may have caught the arm on the way down, but it's not anything intentional and nothing too bad. He's holding his eye as though he's been properly punched, has Jan Sommer. I think even Christian Kivu is with the arms folded, thinking, well, it didn't look that bad. 37 years of age now, Jan Sommer, signed for Bayern Munich back in 2023.
Another way of setting up for the goal kick here, Adam. Arsenal have got 4 players all on the edge of the penalty area. They're saying, you're not getting out, we're going to put you under pressure. For you to get out, you're going to have to play a fight ball, and we're going to win it back, which they have done.
They have. Eza edge of the penalty area, can't get it away, and he's dispossessed, and now Nicolo Barella is away. He's got Federico Di Marco on that left-hand side. Thuram's in the box, cross towards the head of Thuram, goes over his top. Martinez, air shot first time, tries a second time. Was there a hand in there? I don't think so. Trossard's gone down injured, and it's gathered by David Raya. But again, they had them hemmed in, gave away possession, and almost paid the price for it.
Well, they played a fight ball, and the ball broke for them there into Milan, so they got a little lucky. But once they did break, again they wanted to commit people forward, didn't he? DeMarco on the left-hand side as a wing-back, he wants to play left wing, and he did ever so well. But look, I tell you, the game is so quick. Adam, I can't believe they're going to be able to keep this sort of pace up for 90. I mean, we're coming up to half-time. It's been a wonderful first half.
It has. A reminder, Spurs are still in front against Dortmund over on Talksport right now. Your choice of Champions League action. Don't forget as well, tomorrow morning, Alan Brazil and the boys will be here to review tonight's action. 3 minutes to go to half-time here, and Arsenal have the ascendancy. They lead by 2 goals to 1. Gabriel Jesus with both those goals, 10th minute and 31st minute of this game, punctuated by an equaliser for Inter, courtesy of Petr Sucic, and it remains 2-1 as we head towards half-time. Mosquera deep inside his own half, up towards halfway. Jesus can't quite get there, hodded forward by Mosquera. Eza trying to get in. Oh, it's one again in the middle of the park, this time by Sucic on the charge, the goal scorer. We know he's got a thunderous shot on him, works it onto his left foot, tees it up for DeMarco! A low and across Raya, who makes the save, and then at the second attempt, as DeMarco tries to fire it across the 6-yard area, Raya puts it out for a corner on this near side.
Well, we've seen them play some great attacking football, Arsenal, but this is where they had to be defensively absolutely on it. He makes a couple of good saves there, doesn't he, Raya? But you can see the Arsenal players putting their bodies in the line. They're around the danger areas. They're all together. Excellent defending.
Inter still very dangerous in this game. Here's DeMarco with a corner from that far side, the left-hand side for Inter. Outswinger, nodded down by Mosquera and away, this time by the right boot of Trossard. Inter gather possession to the right-hand side. Barella Gives it short once more. Henry, edge of the box, out to Moreno on the right-hand side. Stands across up to the back post and evades everyone. Thuram was trying to get there, and now maybe a chance for Arsenal to counter. Gabriel Jesus has it deep inside his own half. The through ball towards Trossard is cut off, and Inter are there once more with Martinez. Slipped inside, Zielinski on the run towards the edge of the penalty area, and his little poked ball through is cleared by Saliba, who's fouled in the process.
The pace of the game is incredible. I know I've said it, but this is a fast game, and if you dally on the ball, you're going to get dispossessed. And it's going from end to end, and these players, because it is end to end, they're doing 40 and 50 yard runs, getting backwards and forwards, just like a basketball game.
Well, the player who committed the foul inside the penalty area there on Saliba was the Inter centre half, Francesco Acerbi. So he was still up from the previous attack and the corner when he committed the foul. We're into the last few seconds. Can't think there'll be much time added on. Just a minute to go at the end of this first half. First half that you don't really want to stop. Inter 1, Arsenal 2 on Talksport 2. It's been all action so far. And Arsenal, at the moment, heading towards that 7th straight victory in the Champions League and the guarantee of that top 8 finish. I suspect, should they win this, first place is probably more than likely. They have one more game to come, of course, next time out against Karat. That's at home next Wednesday. By the corner flag, Acerbi, this time by his own goal, gets it clear up towards Saka, halfway outside the penalty area. Little foul there from, it may have been Saka in the end, or potentially even Moreno, whoever it was. João Pinheiro, the referee, blows his whistle, and this should be the final action of the half. Jan Sommer is going to come out and launch this forward, and I suspect when the ball's in the air, in fact he's not even waiting. He blows the half-time whistle, and what a half it was after a fantastic start from Arsenal. Gabriel Jesus turning home from close range. It was an instinctive finish, poked out left boot after a Miles Lewis-Skelly shot deflected up in the air. That was cancelled out though by an excellent counter and a superb finish by Petr Sucic to make it 1-1. But then, just after the half hour, a Saka corner from the right-hand side was headed back across the face of goal, glancing off the crossbar by Trossard, and Jesus was there from close range to head home and give Arsenal the advantage at half-time. But don't be fooled. Inter have had plenty of moments where they could have levelled this game up, and actually Arsenal could have scored more too. It's been a pulsating 45 minutes. Alvin Martin, the former England defender, is alongside me, and we can catch our breaths because that was a fantastic advert for the Champions League.
Yeah, well, if you're looking at, as a purist for a game of football in the first half, two top teams in Europe, both in great form, and giving their best in terms of going forward and asking questions, and being asked questions by each other. That's exactly what we've seen there. We've seen top-class football, and you know what I love about it? The risk-taking. They're going at each other, and they're taking chances because they both want to score. And these are two teams that are famed this season for being solid defensively. But tonight, what we've seen is both attacks, I think, being on top.
Were you surprised at how high press Arsenal were and how in the faces of Inter they got so early in the game?
Absolutely. Look, I thought that they would have respected the venue and the opponents a little bit more in terms of like, okay, let's try and quieten the crowd down, just play a little bit deeper, and then get the ball to our attackers and then release forward. But they didn't. From the word go, the ball got laid back from Raya. He launched it, and they nearly got something out of it in the first attack of the game, Adam. And I think that set the scene for the game. I think they were taken back really by Arsenal's approach into Milan, and credit to them, they're a top team. They came back into it, and after being 1-0 down, that would have stunned them. They kept going, and it was a wonder. Probably the best goal we've seen in that half was the one that Inter Milan scored, because he struck it so well, didn't he? It sort of comes to him on his right foot, and he's hitting. I'm surprised how much power he got from it. From 18 yards out, 19 yards out, he just flew into the top corner. corner. And at 1-1, then I was thinking, OK, you need Declan Rice there now to steady things down. Are you going to be good enough, Arsenal, to get over this patch? Because you knew then that Inter were going to be coming at you. And they did that. They asked the questions, and I think he'll be delighted, Mikel Arteta. At half-time, that team talk there, I think, will be very positive.
Yeah, it was, you talk about the start. I mean, that was the first 20-30 seconds of the game when Arsenal had two shots. Gabriel Jesus obviously had that bad knee injury. He's kind of fought his way back, and 2 goals tonight, kind of doing what you feel Arsenal have missed for quite some time, a poacher. Both goals, just in and around the 6-yard box. Not really seen that from Gyökeres yet this season. We never really got it from Kai Havertz. Gabriel Jesus is only 28. Is he the man that kind of is going to round this team off and potentially deliver these trophies for Arsenal this season? Now he appears to be fit and scoring again.
Well, look, the second goal was, me and you would have scored the second goal. It was a header.
You've got more faith in me than I have, Alvin.
But I think the first goal was that poacher's goal that you're talking about. And even when it came to him, and he read where it was going to go, he still had to do well. He still had to get that past the keeper. He had to find a corner, and he did exactly that. So yeah, that poacher, if he doesn't do that, if he doesn't anticipate that, they don't get the first goal. And it could have been Inter Milan that got the first goal, and then the game maybe turns. So they're critical moments, these. So you need to be able to put somebody up front who even if you're not playing well, will have a moment and get you into the game. And he's that sort of player, Adam. So yeah, he could be the missing link.
And at this point as well, if you're Mikel Arteta, you've made the 7 changes tonight on the basis that you want to keep some players fresh for the weekend and for all the other fronts you're competing on. You've come to one of the hardest stadiums to go to in European football to win a game, and at half-time you've played really well and you're on top. It doesn't get much better, does it?
No, I think his big changes would have been Jesus up front, because he hasn't played that much football. I think not playing Rice, so you're playing Marino in there, is another, that Declan is so important to this team. Both fullbacks maybe, but I think both fullbacks have been solid and want to get forward. They want to attack, and he's come with an attacking plan, so they're perfect for that. But when I look at the team, it's not a team that just looks this tune. I always said before the game, it's got a nice look to it. The concerns for me would have been Declan. Can they cope without him? And I think they have to a large degree. Look, they're better when he's in there, no doubt about it. And Jesus, and he's got his 2 goals. So, I think it's very, very positive for Arsenal. They've got to see this game through, because what we have seen is a character from Inter Milan. They were taken, I think, aback by the start of the game. They responded well. They sorted it out on the pitch, and then they came at Arsenal. So, yeah, there's a lot of football left in this, Alan.
Certainly is, but a cracking opening anyway. The thoughts of Alvin Martin, the former England international. As we stand at half-time in the San Siro then, it's been a hell of a half for Arsenal, but Inter very much in this game. Half-time then, it's Inter 1, Arsenal 2.
Champions League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
At Kia, we have an award-winning range of electric cars for you to discover. From the compact SUV, the Kia EV3, and our latest hatchback, the Kia EV4, to our stylish new Kia EV5, the all-electric family SUV. Discover what driving electric really means. And if you order any Kia electric car by March 31st, you'll enjoy your first 2 services free. Search Discover Your Kia EV to book your test drive today.
Kia. Movement that inspires.
T's and C's apply.
Some brands sponsor athletes for the glory, but not Quaker. We're real food, so we sponsor Team GB for the real stuff, the ugly stuff. The 5 a.m. alarms, the blisters, bruises, goggle marks, and mountains of sweaty laundry. Because we know that getting to greatness takes a delicious helping of ugliness. And my word, our porridge is ugly. Look at the state of it. Quaker. Deliciously real, deliciously ugly sponsor of Team GB.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
And yes, we will build the wall.
The ladies not for turning.
It's going to be a U-turn.
It's pulling a U-turn from Labour.
Zarika about the U-turn.
Times change, but for over 240 years, the Times and Sunday Times have been on the ground, delivering in-depth, trusted reporting, so you can understand what's really going on. Times change, The Times remains.
The secret is out. The Housemaid is a UK box office smash hit.
Guilty as charged.
Critics are calling it outrageously enjoyable and wickedly entertaining.
It's a crazy story.
Guess we're gonna find out.
Audiences everywhere are still in shock.
What do you know about this family?
An absolute roller coaster.
You lied about everything.
Definitely one to watch.
I don't know what's been going on with her lately.
Let me know how it ends. The Housemaid, only in cinemas now.
With Lidl Plus, you can hit your January health goals with 20% off all grapes and up to 20% off selected gut health products, including your favourite brands like Actimel and Activia. Open the Lidl Plus app to start saving. Lidl, more to value. Limited offer while stocks last. Lidl Plus T's and C's apply. 18 plus GB only. Offer ends 28th of the 1st. Calcium contributes to the normal function of digestive enzymes.
New year means a new round of speculation, signings and spending sprees. As the 2026 trading season kicks off, stay ahead with all the deals for the central transfer window updates on Talksport.
And they have been made to pay.
Plus, get the inside track on everything from the club moves worth knowing to where the mega money's going in one unbeatable transfer news roundup with White and Jordan every morning from 10.
You can't get closer than
Transfer window updates on Talksport with Intuit QuickBooks. Tackle your self-assessment with Intuit QuickBooks. Search QuickBooks to find out more.
Your live sports station.
Oh, what a move.
This is Talksport 2.
How to Win the World Cup is the podcast that breaks down football's biggest tournament with the people who've actually won it. Greats like Cleberson and Emmanuel Petit tell us what it really takes, all the while being interrupted by comedians like Alex Brooker, who's confident he could have done a better job himself. If you love the World Cup, this is the podcast for you. How to Win the World Cup, available now wherever you get your podcasts. No medals required.
Hi, Jeff Stelling here. It's a full-on Thursday night of Europa League football on Talksport and Talksport 2.
What a ball that was!
From 5:45, Fenerbahce fight it out with Villa, live on Talksport 2.
And he gets the faintest of touches to level the scoring.
Then from 8, Braga face Forest, live on Talksport.
They have the breakthrough!
Hold on tight for a fast-paced Thursday night of live Europa League football on Talksport and Talksport 2.
The UK's #1 football experience.
Kick off live on Talksport 2.
Lovely bit of interplay off Lewis Skelly, left-footed shot from Timber, and poked home by Gabriel Jesus to give Arsenal the lead. He's waited over 2 years to find the back of the net in the Champions League.
But Jesus reads it, a poacher gets onto it and gets a great contact on the ball to make it 1-0.
Runs quite nicely that time towards Fernando. It's blocked again, but it's not this time. Petr Sucic into the top corner and into a level.
Wow, what a strike. This is a thunderbolt.
Then the ball's delivered to that back post. Trossard keeps it alive into the 6-yard area. Gabriel Jesus again. A second on the night. And the kings of set pieces are crowned once more. Half-time then, Inter 1, Arsenal 2. This game is brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. Now we got more live Champions League football coming your way tomorrow evening on Talksport. We'll bring you Liverpool's trip to Marseille. Arne Slot side are looking to bounce back from Saturday's disappointing draw with Burnley. Earlier this week on Talksport Breakfast, Ali McCoy's had this to say about the Reds boss being under pressure just a year after winning the Premier League title.
This fella's come in, he's won the title in his first year, right? And standards have dropped, and bizarrely, in my opinion, people are claiming, questioning his job. He must give the guy's come in, won the title. He's spent the right few quid. He's kind of rebuilding the team. Some of his signings haven't hit the ground running. I take that. I've been at Liverpool. I've seen him a good few times this season. Even they're comfortable result-wise against Barnsley. I didn't think they were brilliant, but the talk of, I just think it's where we are in this day and age, Jeff. It's a sack and remove culture from every team. Doesn't matter who you are, whether you're down the bottom, whether you're up the top, whether you're in the middle, whether you're going for Europe, you're not getting results, let's sack the manager. I mean, it's a sack culture gone crazy. Arne Slot has deservedly won the league last year by a country mile with the best team in the league. Yes, things haven't gone according to plan at this moment in time.
Tomorrow night then, Marseille against Liverpool. Those are the thoughts of Ali McCoist on the pressure on Arne Slot. That's our Champions League live game on Talksport tomorrow evening from 8 o'clock. We'll also have Champions League action here on Talksport 2. Belter this one as well from St James's Park as Newcastle welcome PSV. Eddie Howe's side hoping to get back to winning ways in the competition after going 2 without a win, but they aren't without a shout of getting into those top 8 places, and he believes his side have improved but aren't necessarily getting the recognition they deserve.
I think I've said many times, and people just always raise their eyebrows when I start talking, generally anyway. But I think since that international break that you mentioned, the Manchester City game, I think being the first game after the break, I've seen an upturn in performances generally. I think we've been much more consistent since that break. In that break we did a lot of work. Probably the only time we've been able to train in recent months. I was really pleased with the response of the players, how they focused on the things that we identified that we needed to improve. Yeah, we've not been perfect. There's been the odd game here and there where we haven't performed to the level that we want to, but generally much better, much more like ourselves, scoring goals again. So yeah, I've been pretty pleased. I think the challenge for us is now to maintain that.
That's our game tomorrow night, Newcastle against PSV here on Talksport 2 from the Champions League. Again, 8 o'clock kick-off, all the build-up from 7 o'clock as well. Earlier today, Karat lost 4-1 against Club Brugge. We had the astonishing scoreline of Bodo Glimt 3. Bear in mind they haven't played for a couple of months. Manchester City 1. Rodri sent off in that game as well. Man City now in real danger of missing out on a top 8 place and potentially, like last season, having to play those 2-leg playoff games. And a reminder, I think the sports bar might be quite busy tonight. Jason Cundy, I think, will be getting very excited about laying into Manchester City after 10 o'clock tonight over on Talksport. The other games which kicked off at 8 o'clock this evening, Napoli are ahead against Copenhagen by a 0-0. We've already told you, of course, about the game we're watching between Inter and Arsenal. Olympiacos 2, Bayer Leverkusen 0. Real Madrid are 2 up against Monaco. Sporting and Paris Saint-Germain are goalless. Spurs 2 up against Borussia Dortmund, who are down to 10 men. Dominic Solanke on target, brought back into the squad at the expense, of course, of Matthias Tell, controversially, particularly if you're Matthias Tell or his agent. And Christian Romero with the goals for Spurs, and maybe relieving some of the pressure on Thomas Frank. That game live over on Talksport, and Villarreal 0, Ajax 0. So you're up to date with all the goals in the Champions League so far this evening. Alvin Martin, doesn't look like we've got any changes at half-time from Inter. I'm guessing they'll have taken heart from the fact that they've created plenty of opportunities.
Yeah, look, there could have been more goals in that game, and I think that's what surprised it. Us all is the freedom with which both teams set their stall out, and it's been very attack orientated, and they have broke. I mean, as an example of counter-attacking in that first 45, Inter, probably more than Arsenal. Would have felt that should have had a couple of goals, but look, I think Arsenal have said, okay, we are going to go at you, we're not going to sit back, and that will give you chances, but by playing that the way we are, we expect to score goals as well. But look, everybody would have been surprised. I'm sure the bookies would, because they're 2 tight defences, and at this moment, if you're talking about attack versus defence, attacks are on top.
Well, it's worth remembering that Arsenal did come here in November. I think it was back in 2004, I believe, 2003 actually. I think it was when it happened in the group phase, and they won by 5-1 on that occasion. Thierry Henry with a couple, Freddie Ljungberg, Edu, and Pires were the other goal scorers. Martin Keown was on the bench that night. That won't have made him very happy. And Ray Parlour started in midfield, our very own Ray Parlour.
Some players there, yeah.
And probably one of those times, well, maybe this is the best Arsenal team since then. Who knows? It's probably a decent debate to have at some point. Maybe once they've put some silverware in that trophy cabinet at the Emirates. Maybe this is the season for that to happen. Oh, Moreno's just lost possession here. Edge of the penalty area. Here's Barrera. Slips it out to the left-hand edge of the box. Martinez, it was a poor pass. DeMarco at the byline. Deflected cross. Bounces in the 6-yard box. And has to be hacked away by Lewis Skelly. and then nodded away by Lewis Skelly at the second attempt after Akanji put it back into the danger zone. Jesus has run that out of play on the far side, and it's a throw for Inter.
But if the first minute's anything to go by, Adam, I think we're going to get much of the same as we did in the first half. Squeezing, pressing up the pitch. Certainly if you're dallying on the ball like you did there, Marino, you're going to get nicked off you.
Trossard puts it out of play for another throw on the far side. A reminder of the two teams. Sommer's in goal for Inter. It's Bastoni, Acerbi and Akanji at the back. DeMarco and Enrique are the two wing-backs. Sucic the goal scorer. Zielinski and Barella in central midfield. Martinez and Thuram are up top for Inter. I'll break off from the Arsenal team for a moment because the men in red are on the attack. Saka down this right-hand side, gets the crossover. It's a teasing one, but only as far as the edge of the 6-yard box and headed away by Acerbi.
He's been excellent tonight, Saka. That first half he was, he's captain tonight and, he's led by example. He's not hollering and shouter, but he said, give me the ball, I'm going to have a go at this wing back. I'm going to make sure that I give him a tough night. And he might want to get forward, DeMarco, but he's going to have to defend in the second half.
Well, I was going to say, the numbers tell you how much in Serie A, particularly Federico DiMarco, likes to get forward. 4 goals and 7 assists so far in Serie A for Federico DiMarco. Tonight he's getting forward, but he's also having a lot of defending to do.
That's right, and I think that would have been certainly one of the battles that Arteta would have wanted to win tonight. Saka occupying that wing back, making sure that he was having to defend rather than attack them.
Akanji's got defending to do now. Trossard on the run at the edge of the penalty area, left-hand side, taking on Akanji, tries to get the crossover. Good block from the man on loan for Man City, out and behind for a corner on the far side.
Just need to get Trossard on the same level of performance as Saka on the right. Everything's gone down the right. He's been a constant thorn in Inter's side, hasn't he? Saka on this right-hand side. Trossard's got ability as well, but at the moment he's not really able to find a final ball or cause the same sort of problem down that left-hand side for Arsenal.
He's not, but you have got the likes of Madueke and Martinelli on the bench, of course, who could enter at some point and add to the woes of Inter, who trail by 2 goals to 1. Eza, far side, swings that one into the edge of the 6-yard box. Looks like it's come off the head of Thuram and behind. Well, no, according to the referee, it was off Subamendi, who's probably about 3 foot shorter than Thuram. And he was clearly off Thuram by an absolute mile.
I mean, you could tell by the reaction of the players straight away, instantly. They were after a corner there. So but the replays prove that they were right.
Well, if we manage to spot it, I'm sure how the referee does. Thuram is significantly taller than Subamendi. I think it's fair to say. Right-hand side, Enrique just over halfway for Inter. Forced backwards the Brazilian to halfway and to Manuel Akanji once more. Played every game so far this season for Inter in Serie A and the Champions League. Seems to be a real linchpin at the heart of that defence. No wonder he doesn't fancy going back to Manchester City in this window. There is an obligation to buy as well. I think it was somewhere around the £15-16 million mark for Akanji, which feels like a pretty good deal for the 30-year-old. Inside the centre circle, Acerbi. Back to Bastoni. DiMarco on this near side. Martinez, helped on its way by DiMarco, but straight to the feet of Mosquera.
Good pressure in, isn't it, by Arsenal again? They're making it really difficult for Inter Milan.
Here's Saka. Trossard's got space on the left-hand side. Jesus is on the charge down the right. If he can stay on side, Trossard still going onto his right foot. Good challenge from Akanji. Edge of the penalty area. As Trossard tried to cut inside onto that right foot, Akanji just stepped across him and one possession for Inter.
Yeah, again, it's Saka in that sort of situation. You feel that he's going to force something to happen in Arsenal's favour. At the moment, Trossard's not really able to get any change out of them defenders that are facing him up.
Feels a little bit like Martinelli and Trossard are both better players when they come off the bench as opposed to starting games.
Yeah, you're right.
They both tend to make an impact. Maybe we'll see Martinelli at some point trying to do that today for Arsenal. Eza, edge of the box. Eza trails the shot. Just tried to guide that into the bottom right-hand corner of Sommer's goal, but the Swiss goalkeeper was alert to the danger and made a fairly comfortable save in the end.
Not many people can do that, Adam. That ball was fired into him, he's got people around him. He's got two defenders into Milan defenders. He gets it under control instantly, gets himself turned and gets the shot away. All right, the shot didn't find a corner, it didn't have the power, but not many people can receive a ball in that sort of situation.
I tell you what I like there, Alvin. I liked his thinking where he tried to place it. He didn't snatch at it. He got it. He got it under control and actually thought about where he was going to place his shot.
Yeah, and he's got that in his locker. He's got the finish as well. That's certainly a position that Arteta will want to see him in.
Yet to score a Champions League goal, of course. Eze, it's his first season in the competition with Arsenal. Here's Bastoni. Gives it back to Zielinski. Little back heel towards DiMarco from Barella, but it was intercepted by Arsenal. And here is Jesus on this near side again. Does brilliantly, then gets caught by Barella. And it's going to be a free kick for Arsenal midway inside their own half.
I'm surprised he hasn't got a card out there. I thought the referee was going to be maybe brandishing a few, but he's just brilliant here, Jesus. Again, this is team play. When his team has been under a little bit of pressure in a difficult stage of the game, he wins himself a foul. And he's been deep a lot of the time, but I think that's only when he's had to, when he's been forced to. But a lot of the time they want to see him high up the pitch. And I think the balance between defending with Jesus and attacking has been perfect.
Arsenal have it at the edge of their own penalty area. They have David Raya in goal. It's Timber, Saliba, Mosquera and Lewis Skelly across the back. Zubamendi, Eze and Moreno in midfield. Trossard and Saka are the two wingers. And Gabriel Jesus with both goals and up top for Arsenal tonight. You are listening to Inter Milan against Arsenal in the Champions League, live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Timber's throw. Back to Saliba. Raya in his own penalty area. He'll be crossed that he's conceded a second goal of this campaign for sure. It was one of the most impressive goal differences seen in group phases of Champions League, that's for sure. For Arsenal, it's so solid. Only PSG, Bayern and Dortmund have actually scored more goals than them in the competition. In fact, if you go back to the last 10 group phase games prior to tonight, they'd only conceded 3 goals, so you can make that 4 in 11. Now in trouble here, Martinez with a chance. It's broken through on the right hand side to Enrique. Martinez is down in the penalty area. He wanted a spot kick. DiMarco nearly got there. In the end, Arsenal get it away on that far side. Martinez is still down and may require some treatment.
But I don't think it's a penalty, but certainly he'll be absolutely relieved because he toe pokes the ball. Lewis Skelly is on the floor and he toe pokes the ball towards him and he nearly put Inter in. So it's another warning shot across the bows of Arsenal here.
Oh yeah, I think Martinez ended up being the meat in the Mosquera-Saliba sandwich, I think it's fair to say, but there was nothing sinister in the challenge. He just ran into Saliba and Mosquera happened to be behind him at the time. So he's up and about, and referee João Pinheiro not being fooled in any way, shape or form by the actions of Lautaro Martinez. Throwing in the far side for Inter, who've done a lot of attacking at the start of this second half. And they have it again with Thuram, who's dispossessed by Mosquera and Zubamendi between the two of them. Jesus, little put on his shirt there, referee says play on.
That's a foul.
It's clearly a foul by, I think, Acerbi again, but the referee not giving that, despite it being a fairly blatant pull. Bastoni, short of halfway for Inter, over halfway, and then back inside his own half again. Lifted forward by Zielinski. Here's Martinez, back to DiMarco, inside his own half. Almost 10 minutes gone in the second half. Inter 1, Arsenal 2. Eze doing the hard work. Pressure being applied to Bastoni. Now it goes back to Sommer inside his box.
Yeah, there wasn't on the press. He's made a mistake there, Jesus. He went for the press and it was never on.
Oh, that's a poor pass given away that time by Akanji. Here is Jesus again, seeing so much of the ball. Trossard, back to Jesus again. Left-hand edge of the penalty area. Trossard with the ball at feet, just trying to tease Akanji. Then looks to play the ball backwards towards Lewis Skelly, who's waiting. They've got players queuing up in a more central area. One of them Zubamendi, then Saliba. And now on this right-hand side is Jurrien Timber. Goes back again into the feet once more of Zubamendi. Helped on its way down that left-hand side. Lewis Skelly out wide on the far touchline. Trossard infield to Moreno. Moreno once more to Zubamendi. Happily controlling things in that midfield. Martin Zubamendi. You can see why Liverpool were keen to buy him a couple of seasons ago. Here's Saka towards the edge of the penalty area. Comes to Timber. Timber edge of the box, right hand side. Works it to Saka again. Closed down by DiMarco. He's going to get some help this time by Sucic, the goal scorer. Saka still gets the byline, gets the crossover, back post, Trossard volleys it across the 6-yard box and wide and behind for what will be a goal kick for Inter.
Well, it might have gone out, I don't know. No, it didn't. No, it's a decent cross. Saka, again, he's got no room to work there. They've doubled up on Saka now because they're worried about him when he gets one-on-one to DiMarco. He plays the ball with his right boot to the far post. And you know what? Technically, Trossard is better than that. We've seen him score great goals, left and right foot. He gets a good contact on the ball, but he'll be really disappointed he hasn't at least hit the target there.
Didn't really put his foot through. It's almost like he's trying to steer it back into the danger zone, but I don't think Eze was far away from getting there. Here come Inter on their counter. Enrique, right-hand side. Skips past one challenge, slips the ball into the feet of Martinez, who then tries to go wide out to Barella on that far side, and it's a goal kick for Arsenal. Good work by Miles Lewis-Skelly once more.
Yeah, he's done well, hasn't he, defensively tonight. We know they can get forward, but I think there's times when, one-on-one he's been really sensible, knowing when to stay on his feet, when to make a challenge, when to not have a nibble. Against quality players, you've got to know that, and he's been really solid in that respect.
Not only Champions League action with those 2 games tomorrow night, of course. Thursday we have got Europa League action as well for you. Fenerbahce against Aston Villa is our 5:45 game here on Talksport 2. Braga against Forest coming up at 8 o'clock on Talksport. That's on Thursday evening. Back in the Championship on Friday night. Derby against West Bromwich Albion. West Brom with a new manager, of course. Unfortunately, they're losing already tonight at home against Norwich at half-time as things stand. Derby are in front at Charlton in the EFL. There's a bunch of Championship games this evening too. And on Saturday lunchtime, our exclusive Premier League game. I think Alvin and I might be interested in this one. It's West Ham against Sunderland, 12:30 on Saturday lunchtime. You going?
No, but it's a big one. It's certainly a big one for West Ham. Massive.
That'll be live on Talksport Saturday, all the build-up from 11 o'clock. While bringing you cricket. Actually, the cricket gets underway Thursday here on Talksport 2. England against Sri Lanka in the ODI series. 3 ODIs, first of which is Thursday, second is Saturday. That's Thuram who spins and turns and out of nothing gets a shot away despite the very close attention of Mosquera. It's excellent forward play, but it's straight up right.
Yeah, he's a player, isn't he? I don't know, he really is. He's he can do a little bit of everything. He's quick, he's athletic, he's got great technique and lovely there. He just felt the defender, turned him and struck the ball. He's probably struck it too well. It went straight at Raya.
They're doing well here on the turnover into. They've picked up loose ball again. Enrique on that right-hand side. Crossing, Thuram gets the header away. Nearly comes to DiMarco, but in fact it goes behind him and he was offside anyway. So it'll be a free kick to Arsenal inside their own penalty area.
Yeah, they've started off well. I think they've probably had the better start in the second half into Milan. But it's Arsenal knowing when to navigate a difficult phase of the game. They get around each other. They make it difficult. Even if you give us a few nervous moments, we're not going to let it deter us from our overall plan. It's a team that can come and have phases of the game that are difficult and come through them.
Almost an hour gone on Talksport 2. Inter 1, Arsenal 2. As things stand, a reminder over on Talksport. Spurs are 2 up against Dortmund. Here's Saka down this right-hand side. This time he doesn't go to the byline. He tries to play the ball to Timber, who does brilliantly to get the cross away. DiMarco deflects it goalwards, and Sona has to be alert to make the grab.
Well, DiMarco really, I'm sure he doesn't get this sort of amount of work that he has to do as a defender for Inter Milan. He's more happy, isn't he, being in the opposition's half, attacking, using that lovely left foot of his to deliver cross as well. Tonight he's had a very difficult game. To be fair, he's still got forward well at times for Inter Milan, but I think Saka's given him a really uncomfortable night when he's around the edge of his own box.
Here's Timber on this right-hand side for Arsenal, and the challenge that comes thundering in from Petar Sucic is a decent one, but it does mean Arsenal have the throw on this near touchline.
Looks calm, doesn't he, Arteta? Normally we see him a lot more animated than this.
Heading towards 7 straight wins in the Champions League phase. 21 points they'll have on the board, guaranteed to finish in that top 8. No need to worry about playoff games for Arsenal. And I think the fact that Bayern are 3 behind them, a few goals behind them as well, and obviously if you go head to head, Arsenal got the better of that game too. You'd probably fancy that Arsenal will finish top in the group phase, and obviously they have seeded it this time round, so you won't have the same issue that Liverpool had last time coming up against PSG, having won the group. It did feel a little bit harsh last season on Arne Slot's side. Here's Trossard, gets it into the feet. Jesus inside the box, well defended this time by Bastoni and by Acerbi. Here though is Timber. Saka inside the area, right hand side. On his right foot fires a shot this time. And DeMarco makes the block once more. Out to Timber again. Here's Saliba. They've got Inter penned in around their penalty area right now. And they don't want to let them go. But I think Saliba is, because he's going to go this time back to Mosquera, who's deep inside his own half. And then they'll go back to David Raya. First time clearance from Raya. Saka's loitering because Acerbi has let it bounce, and his header goes straight to the feet of Jesus. You know what they say? Never let it bounce. Here's Saka, lovely ball in from Jesus, and it's going to be a corner.
What great play! Look, great play by Arsenal. The way they thread this through. Jesus again. What a great ball by him. Saka just doesn't get the shot away as quick as he should do. He just hesitates, and he allows a fantastic challenge to come in.
Sliding challenge from Bastoni. It was time to perfection. I think the referee made the point to say, look, he got the ball as well. A couple of changes here coming for Arsenal, and Ben White looks like he's ready to come on, and so is Declan Rice. We are going to see another change though first change of the night for Inter. Davide Fratesi is coming on. That's going to be one of the changes. We're going to see Lautaro Martinez depart and Barella, and we're also going to see the introduction, it would appear, of Pio Esposito. So 2 changes, Martinez off as well. Esposito will go up top for Inter, and Barella's place in midfield will be taken by Fratesi. And the 2 Arsenal changes, we're going to see Ewan Timber come off. Straight swap, of course, for Ben White. And we're also going to see the introduction of Declan Rice into that midfield, and he's coming on for Eberici Eze. So maybe a bit of calming influence coming into that midfield in the form of Declan Rice.
Yeah, well, 63 minutes in, you think, okay, let's solidify now. Maybe not make it as open as it has been, and it has been an open game, really open.
So Davide Fratesi is on. Here's the corner, and lo and behold, Rice is straight on, and we'll take it from that far side, right-footed, in swinging. Doesn't get past Thuram at the near post. Out to Zubamendi, back to Rice again on that far side. Won't surprise you to hear he's already created 10 clear-cut chances from set pieces as Declan Rice, as that ball's played through to Zubamendi, who can't quite get it under control. Offside flag was up anyway against Zubamendi, and it'll be a free kick for Inter.
Well, certainly the remainder of this game, Adam, you'd expect Inter Milan to take more chances than Arsenal. You know, they will take the risks, and you know, when a team does that against you, sometimes you are forced to maybe just take the more cautious route. It'll be interesting to see which way this goes now.
26 minutes to play. Inter 1, Arsenal 2. This game is brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. Free kick for Inter, taken quickly, and Fratesi was on the charge after that one. Looks like he's going to play maybe a little further forward on that right-hand side, just to try and put some pressure on this Arsenal backline a little more, as Inter go searching to try and avoid a third straight defeat in the Champions League phase. Sommer with a little touch. Inter have it at the edge of their own penalty area, and a good challenge that time by Moreno. No, the referee says it's a foul, and a free kick Inter's way, midway inside their own half. Just thinking about Thuram, he's got the kind of build and ability and presence that maybe would suit the Premier League, you think?
Yeah. looking at the aspect of Arsenal's play today, I think a lot of it's been excellent, but I don't think I've seen them press as well as this for a long time.
Clip ball forward on that far side for Inter. Vertesis on the charge after it on that far side. Got closed down that time by Lewis Skelly. Akanji keeps it alive. Bastoni midway inside the Arsenal half. To the left-hand side he goes. Finds DeMarco. Early cross from DeMarco, swinging one towards the back post. Volleyed back into the danger zone by Enrique, but cleared by Declan Rice. And a throw-in on the far side for Inter, midway inside the Arsenal half. Short to Akanji. The Man City man will just put it down that far touchline for Enrique again. He'll cut in on that right foot, then just chips a lovely ball into the chest of Esposito, who gets the shot away. And it's just wide of the right-hand post of David Raya. It's excellent control. I wasn't sure if there was a hand in there somewhere. No, he gets the shot away, and Raya got across and had it covered. Just going wide of the right-hand post, but he pinned Mosquera there, and it's excellent.
Yeah, it's an uncomfortable situation after any defender. The ball's been played in. You're inside the penalty area, you can't move him around, you've got to let him have the ball, but he was good enough to feel the defender and then get himself turned. And tell you what, you could tell by Ray, he was desperately across his goal when he's scrambling there. Wasn't too far away, that one.
Ref's got it wrong as well. That came off the inside leg of Mosquera, so that should really have been a corner for Inter, not given by a Portuguese official. Midway point of the second half. Inter 1, Arsenal 2. You're listening to Talksport 2. On that far side, there's a foul again on Esposito. And the referee just calling forward Mosquera. In terms of players who are walking a tightrope for Arsenal, Mikel Moreno and Declan Rice both on yellow cards. A yellow card, of course, they'll miss the next game.
Well, certainly he's been given a warning there, Mosquera.
Certainly has by the referee. Wanted to talk to him. Here's Shalinski towards the edge of the box. Lovely bit of build-up play. Thuram with a shot, and he fires it over the top of the bar again from about 16 yards out. Took a deflection, and it'll be a corner for Inter. Good play though from the home side.
Well, I expect them to hit the target with this. That's why I think the deflection was quite substantial, wasn't it? A lovely setup. He really has caught the eye for Inter Milan tonight. Thuram, I think he's been brilliant.
Yeah, it's a good block from Saliba in the end. DeMarco's cross nodded down. Esposito digs the shot out from under his feet. And already he's only been on the field a few minutes, and he's had two good opportunities here for Inter.
Well, he certainly added something different to the mix, hasn't he, from Inter? He's big, strong. It's hard to manhandle him. You can see Mosquera is trying to force him to make a mistake, but his first touch on his chest a couple of times now has been brilliant, and he's certainly somebody that you can play direct to. And as long as you hit the ball below head height, to his chest, he knows where the line of the defender is behind him, and he makes it incredibly difficult for anyone to get in front of him.
I was going to say, Lautaro Martinez most of his work seems to be done outside the box. They've now got another player in the penalty area to deal with.
They're going more direct now. Even DeMarco, you see him on this left-hand side where he wanted to get round the back of Arsenal. Now, he doesn't mind just putting a higher ball in because they've got the height there.
White slips the ball down this right-hand side, chases on. Jesus will get there, right by the corner flag. Back to Saka. Saka gets away from DeMarco. Finds Zubimendi. White's gone on a run inside the penalty area, but goes out to the right-hand side again, where Gabriel is waiting, or Jose Gabriel Jesus. It's short to Declan Rice. Rice turns away. He's got Trossard out wide on the left-hand side, about 35 yards out from goal. Back to Rice once more, as Arsenal look to try and secure this game, secure the 3 points, the 7th victory, and they'll move on to match day 8 next Wednesday, knowing that place in the top 8 is secure. Offside flag against Saka on this near side, and a free kick for it.
Jolie just off, he's spun there and the ball nearly went in. He's given DeMarco a really tough night, hasn't he, on this right hand side. Jesus, I just seen him making a run and didn't look like the ball had that much quality on it, Adam. It looked like it was going to run out, but he made it a good ball and kept it for Arsenal. his work rate has been tremendous tonight. He's got himself a couple of goals. It's been a really good night for Jesus as an individual.
Sign of how tight this game is as well. Both teams have had 13 attempts and both have had 3 on target. It remains into 1, Arsenal 2. Little clip on down that right hand side for Enrique, but Rice is there to win the header and just gives it back to Raya inside the penalty area. And Arsenal will bowl out from the back, and Rice will look to build once more. Their last away win against an Italian side, well, that was in the Champions League in March 2008. That was the last time they did it in this competition. That was here again against AC Milan that time. Last 5 trips they hadn't won, hadn't scored a goal either, so it's been a good night all round and a sign of the improvement we're seeing from Arsenal. Poor though, pass out didn't find Rice. Esposito helps it on, edge of the penalty area. Enrique just tries to side foot it from the edge of the box, but it's blocked. Akanji will load it back in and straight down the throat of Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan now and again, he's not great with his feet, is he? He's steady more than anything, and he just give one away there and encouraged Milan to come on at them.
As things stand, Arsenal have 21 points. They'll be 6 clear of Real Madrid, who will have played 7 games. I think Mikel Moreno may have just got a yellow card. That means he's going to be banned from the Kirat game, which is the next match. And I think a yellow card to Bastoni to start with, I think, for his reaction to that challenge. Referee immediately moving in to show the card to Bastoni. It was the challenge from Moreno on DeMarco.
It's a poor challenge, it really is. There's no reason to make that. He has got himself booked.
And he misses the next game against Canap.
But, it was intentional. And I think right in front of the referee, it's a silly one.
Yeah, I think if there's a game to miss, probably no offence to Karat, but it's probably that game with them hopefully already secured. But Bastoni gets a yellow as well. He wasn't walking a tightrope tonight, so he's fine. Former Atalanta man, should I say. Both in the book. First time we've seen the yellow card in this game. It's not been a dirty tackle really in it throughout. Esposito and Mosquera having a right old ding-dong at the edge of the centre circle, and I think Alvin Martin alongside me licking his lips in the centre half, getting involved in all that.
I think there are times though, Adam, you've got to let him have it. If it's a good ball in with quality and he's a good player holding the ball up, you've got to let him have the ball, except that just don't let him turn and let him know that you're there without giving fouls away.
No challenge for Mosquera. That's into the feet of Thuram, off to Esposito, helped on its way by Sucic, Inter's goal scorer, and there's a foul on Trossard there by Thuram on that far side, and that's going to be a free kick for Arsenal at the edge of their own penalty area.
He's lucky, man. Just seen a replay of it, Adam. He's lucky that's only a yellow,
To be fair, I think Bastoni's the one who's also lucky. That's
a
shot in the throat of Moreno to the floor. Another couple of changes coming then for Arsenal. No great surprise that Mosquera and Gabriel Jesus are the players coming off, and Jesus will be replaced by Victor Gyökeres, and we're going to see the introduction of Gabriel, who will go on for Mosquera. So moving the youngster out, popping the old head in this instance to try and look after Esposito there, Arsenal. And he's got a good shift in Mosquera.
Yeah.
And 2 goals for Jesus as well.
Again, he's really comfortable, isn't he, Arteta? Putting individuals into a team framework, because it doesn't seem to disrupt anything. And they're all capable replacements that don't really change anything, and I think it must be wonderful for him. Credit to him, he's the one that's educated these players, he's the one that's moulded them into not just a team but a squad that he can take pieces out, put pieces in. It's a manager's dream, really.
Gyökeres is on up top, Gabriel in the heart of the defence alongside Saliba, and Arsenal leading 2-1 with 15 minutes to go. You're listening to Inter Milan against Arsenal in the Champions League, live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it, book now at enterprise.co.uk.
They will play a little longer now, White especially. You know, when he's put under pressure here, he doesn't want to really start getting involved in playing tight little game around the edge of his own penalty area. He will play the ball over that fullback's head and he'll launch it 40 or 50 yards. So they'll lose a little bit of possession because of that.
Enrique coming forward on that right hand side, cuts inside Trossard, still going Enrique into a central area, gives it short this time to Sucic, and it's out wide to the left hand side to DeMarco. Bastoni's gone on a run into the penalty area, but they'll go backwards instead, keep the ball and give it to Acerbi. Helped on its way this time by Shalinski. Acerbi again, edge of the centre circle. Now down that right hand side. Looking to go forward once more with Akanji. Acerbi. Patient stuff here from Inter. 14 minutes left, just looking to try and stretch this Arsenal defence. Clipped through straight to Raya, despite the fact that Freitesi was on the charge into the penalty area.
Yeah, sense a little bit of desperation, frustration coming in for Inter Milan here. It just, they can't get the ball into the front with any real quality in there. They play about 7, 8, 9, 10 passes and then launch it in there, and it's given away really. So credit to Arsenal, they're frustrating them a little.
Over on Talksport, it's still Spurs 2, Borussia Dortmund 0. Elsewhere, Villarreal and Ajax are tied 1 apiece. Sporting and PSG still 0-0. Last year's winners, of course. Inter last year's runners-up. Real Madrid have hit 5 past Monaco, 5-1 at the Bernabeu. They'll go second in the table, but they will be 6 points adrift of Arsenal if it stays like this.
Good pressing again there, Adam. As you were talking, you can see that they were really squeezing the ball. Saka was the one. They put Bastoni under pressure and he's ended up giving the ball away, and they've got possession now with a throw-in on the edge of Inter's box. It's been really, I said it early on, the best pressing I've seen them.
Ben White onto Saka, pokes it into the penalty area and it's cleared away, this time by Acerbi, then on by Ben White, and DeMarco will hack it up into the air towards halfway. Good header one by Gabriel, and then Rice slips it through. Saka on his right foot straight at Sommer, who makes the save. He'll get another chance here. Saka at the byline, clips it to the back post. Rice is there to pick it up. He got support. Support arrives in the form of Moreno, and then on its way to Trossard, and now Rice again. Lovely run round the back by Lewis Skelly, and it's cleared away again by Acerbi from the edge of the 6-yard box for Inter Milan.
Brilliant play by Declan Rice. What a ball that was. He fizzed it, didn't he, into the feet of Saka. Got the shot away. Good save. But they've got a real threat on the pitch now. And he adds a bit of everything, Declan Rice. He travels with the ball. He's got guile and a delicacy to his game around the edge of the box. He's got a goal in him. So certainly an extra problem for Inter Milan to deal with.
Here comes Martinelli, who's about to enter the fray. Already got 5 goals to his name in this campaign this season. He's been deadly so far in the Champions League as Martinelli. And he'll get his opportunity for the final 10 minutes or so here at the San Siro. And it will be Trossard who comes off. And Martinelli will just drop onto this left-hand side. Unsurprisingly, final change for Arsenal.
Imagine as a fullback you think, I've got Martinelli to run after now, have I? It's an abundance of riches, isn't it, for Arteta?
He scored 5 goals from just 9 shots in the Champions League so far this season. He has been very impressive. And looking to try and make it 6. Neymar and Jardel, the 2 Brazilians so far, who have managed to score 5 in a row. If he could do 6, well, that would be something special for Martinelli. Hasn't delivered much in the Premier League for Arsenal, but certainly in the other competitions he's shone. As we mentioned earlier, maybe better coming on as a substitute. Certainly didn't impress on Saturday against Forest. Here's Saka. Gets it out to the left-hand side, and here he is already on the ball, charging inside the penalty area, gets the better of Akanji and just took it too far in front of him, and it allowed Sommer to gather at the edge of his 6-yard.
Well, he looks like he's got the pace on Akanji, but he just played the ball too far ahead of him, didn't he, and it allowed Sommer to come in and collect that there.
Inter have it, 10 minutes to go. Inter 1, Arsenal 2. No goals in the second half of this game here on Talksport 2 tonight, but nonetheless, excellent entertainment all round, and following up from the drama we had from the Arctic Circle, with Manchester City losing earlier tonight on Talksport 2 against Bodo Glimt by 3-1.
When you look at Arsenal here, Adam, and you look at the what's happening at Man City as their results tonight, there's quite a chasm between the two of them now, isn't there?
It certainly is, and there's a real battle royal between Gabriel and Esposito. This time round, Esposito wins it, and it's a free kick for Inter. On this left-hand side, Bastoni will play it quick to DeMarco on this near touchline. Back to Bastoni again. Sucic will give it square to Acerbi. Sucic again, left-hand side. Once more infield, in to have it midway inside the Arsenal half. Just probing and trying to find a way. Now some room here for DeMarco. Left-footed ball across, and it was a dangerous one at the edge of the 6-yard area that was cleared out. And they've had to clear it for a second time after DeMarco put it back in along the ground. But they have got it with Saka up to Gyökeres, and surely that's going to be a yellow card. And it is a yellow card. And it's shown to Acerbi. He goes in the book, and it's a free kick for Arsenal just short of halfway.
Danilo, the referee, I've got to say, surprised me. When the first 10 minutes of the game started, I thought he was going to be finicky stopping it, and I think he's had a good game. He's known what's a foul, what is the foul. So credit to him.
I think that's a foul, Alvin, that one.
It's not very often, Adam.
No, almost a piggyback. He was almost getting a piggyback from Gyökeres there, for sure. A couple more changes here for Inter. And Enrique and Shalinski are off. And we've seen the introduction of Boni into the midfield, and Diouf is on 2. So they are making the changes. Enrique departing. No sign yet of Mkhitaryan, of course, our former Arsenal man, amongst the substitutes for tonight for Inter. A couple of seasons he had at Arsenal. DeMarco hacks it clear up towards halfway. Picked up again by Esposito. Ball switched to that right-hand side, where it's picked up by Diouf. Back to Akanji. Running through the centre this time is Sucic. There's Bastoni on this left-hand side with the captain's armbands after Martinez went off. Fratesi into the feet of Akanji. Sucic again onto Bastoni, into keeping the ball well. Just trying to advance forward down this left-hand side into Arsenal territory. DeMarco gets it down the line. Bonnie's there, tries to get the cross into, but Mendy's over to him, and it's out for a corner.
Yeah, he's a little fortunate there, Mendy. He's a little late coming out, and he relied on a bad cross, really. Not often you can really get a ball in them areas against Arsenal.
DeMarco just seeing a little bit more of the ball further forward in the last 10 minutes or so for Inter. He's going to swing this corner in from this left-hand side. Around the penalty spot, evades everyone. Martinelli's away, and he looks. Gyökeres is on the charge, and if he plays it now, Gyökeres was inside his own half, not offside. Now he sprints through. Gyökeres, he's got 2 around him. Here comes the support. Saka arrives straight to his feet, comes back to Gyökeres, who puts it in the top corner. Stunning finish from Victor Gyökeres to surely secure the win for Arsenal. They're 7th in the league phase of the Champions League. And whatever you say about Gyökeres in this competition, he knows how to score goals. His 9th in the Champions League, and it's only his 13th appearance. And this is a truly stunning finish from Victor Gyökeres. It's Inter 1, Arsenal 3.
Well done, Arsenal. What a performance. What a performance. I was thinking, can they see it out at 2-1? Well, they've winning it 3-1, and they fully deserve it as well. The quality of that break was incredible, Adam. Keeper's sort of trying to get to it, but it's such a well-placed shot. He had pace, power, a little fortunate the ball broke for him, but once it broke on his right foot, you could see what he was trying to do. He executed it brilliantly. Arsenal have been fantastic tonight.
3rd goal of this Champions League season for Victor Gyökeres. And surely now Inter are facing that 3rd Champions League defeat in a season for the first time. Their impregnable home form, which Liverpool put an end to 18 without defeat in this competition at the San Siro, and Liverpool came here and won 1-0. That was impressive enough, but this Arsenal performance is street ahead.
Yeah, and Martinelli, the two subs played a great part in that goal. Martinelli was the one that played the ball with the outside of his boot. He's seen the run. They'd thrown people forward into Milan. He played it with the outside of his boot, inch perfect with Gyökeres. And one-on-one, he held it, tried to play it through the Saka. It bounced back into his path. But what a finish once it was there.
And they've been under a bit of pressure as DeMarco gets a cross in, and again Thuram with a header, but he just floats it over the top of the Arsenal crossbar. Again, it's a good cross, and Thuram has looked the most likely of Inter players to find a goal in this game. Been very impressive tonight. 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, again, I think any striker on either side that causes either of these defences problems is the real deal, because they are two very well drilled defences. And when you look at the game has been brilliant. It's 3-1 to Arsenal. Many people coming into this game thought it was going to be a really tight game, 0-0, 1-0, the odd goal maybe, but we've seen two teams really go at it, hammer and tongue, toe to toe. It's been a brilliant game of football. I can't remember a game going as fast as this for a long time, because it's been intriguing. At 2-1, you didn't know which way it was going to go, but Arsenal fully deserving of the lead.
Well, there's shades of 2003 in that 5-1 victory. I'm sure they won't want to give up just yet. In terms of the goal scoring, Martinelli himself looks incredibly lively and intent on trying to create himself an opportunity here. Bukayo Saka lifts that one forward on the far side. It's left to bounce by Diouf, and it's put out of play by Kanji, and the pressure from Arsenal is incessant.
I think as well, Adam, when you look at the performance and how impressive it's been against it, this is against the top side, in their own backyard, at a place that they're not used to losing. And I think they set another record tonight, don't they, Arsenal, in terms of winning European games. So I think this is a new chapter that looks set to really unwind for Arsenal.
With the results tonight as well, Inter will slip down to 8th in the table, with obviously teams to play tomorrow night that could go above them. So suddenly Inter's place in that top 8 looking under threat. They will finish up next time out against Borussia Dortmund. Arsenal have never ever won 7 European games in a row, yet tonight looks like it's the night. Here's Saka on the charge. He's got 3 around him. Rice is there. He gets it back from Rice nicely. Overhead from Saka to find Martinelli out by the corner flag on that far side. On his right foot, Martinelli keeps it in, chested down by Rice, who wins the corner.
Since he's arrived, Declan Rice, the team was playing well before that, but all he's done is just solidified it, hasn't he? And also added much more intent attacking wise. He's got everything, this player. He can run with the ball, he can play, he can score. Physically, he's demanding. He's got a presence about him. He really has improved them.
Set piece time. Rice will deliver on that far side. So it's the Arsenal left. So it's going to be swung in right-footed. Martinelli, Moreno, Gyökeres and Zubamendi are all lurking at the back of the penalty area, or the back of the 6-yard box, should I say, ready to make their move. Rice prepares to deliver. What have they cooked up this time on that training ground? And what they've cooked up is a foul on Bastoni and a free kick at the edge of the 6-yard box.
Yeah, that's it. It's been one that's been consistent all night, that, isn't it? From a corner, they have 5 players that look like they're out of play on the far post, and they make a run to the near post and leave one for the header on the back post. And that's how they got that goal, wasn't it? It was a fantastic goal, the second one for Jesus. Trossard played his part in that. He was quiet tonight, Trossard, but that was a really difficult header that he executed and made.
There's a chance at the edge of the box again, right-footed. The shot from Gyökeres this time, well over the crossbar. Not quite the quality of the previous finish. Good challenge though, but Moreno sliding in. He's on a yellow card, remember, as well. But I think, look, they're 3-1 up and they're still pressing.
Yeah, and he should have played it to his right there. He could see the glory, couldn't he? And he had Saka making a run to his right. He didn't say anything, Saka. They know the game's won now. I think if that had been 1-1 or 2-1, I think Saka might have let him know.
Final minute of normal time. There will be 3 added minutes at the end of this game. DeMarco still running down this left-hand side for Inter. Gets a good ball across and a chance to finish on the edge of the 6-yard box for Fratesi. But his run was good as he come in to greet it, but too much on it. It had already gone beyond Thuram, and he fires it over the bar. They've had chances tonight, Inter.
Yeah, but even on this one, that you can see that they are putting pressure on them, Arsenal. You're not going to be given an easy chance against Arsenal. They're always anticipate where the ball's going to drop. They're around each other. They're a proper team.
Problems for Inter will be the likes of Newcastle, Chelsea, Barcelona, all playing tomorrow night, Liverpool, Atletico Madrid, who can all go above Inter in the table into that top 8, making life very difficult for them. That's helped on its way towards Martinelli, who's still searching for that 6th Champions League goal of the campaign.
He's a machine, isn't he, Declan Rice? You don't think he's going to get there, but he always does. He finds an extra half a yard from somewhere.
He's only had to do half an hour tonight, though. He's probably full of beans, isn't he? Must be quite pleasurable when that's the case.
He's going to get himself booked there.
Well, of course he's going to get himself booked. Then he misses the next game against Karat. I mean, listen, we're starting to talk about the perfect night here for Arsenal. Rice has waited to stoppage time to get his booking. Moreno's had his booking. They both now are unavailable for Karat. And at that point, Arsenal will have 7 in a row. Yellow cards will be wiped out.
Perfect night. I'm not so sure he meant to get booked there, did he?
I think he did. I think there's no doubt about it that both of them tonight. I looked tonight and looked down and thought, well, look, Karat's coming next. If you're going to get your second booking, or your third booking, should I say, you get it tonight.
Perfect.
Here's Akanji. Out to that right-hand side. Don't tell me you wouldn't have done the same, Alvin Martin. Here's Diouf on the charge towards the edge of the penalty area. Slips that one in. Here's Bonny at the byline, cuts it back. Saka will get it away. Martinelli on that far side will get the better of Akanji. Now he's already done him for pace once. He's toying with the idea of doing him again on that far side, and he's just cut inside him. Forget the pace. He's done it through skill alone. Outstretched hand just pulled him back there, and that was Esposito. He looks to take the free kick quickly. We're in the final minute of 3 added. Arsenal have it on halfway. Here's Declan Rice, edge of the centre circle. Back towards Saliba.
They can go anywhere, Arsenal. They can go anywhere. You think about, they're sitting top of the Premier League. They've gone to Inter Milan, who are sitting top of Serie A, and been much the better team. And they've had problems. They've had little patches in the game where they've had to weather it, but they've done it again. Been a brilliant performance.
And there's the final whistle, and it's another victory for Arsenal. They'd never won 7 European games in a row. They have now. They sit atop the Champions League table. They're guaranteed of a place in that top 8 and safely through to the second round of the knockout phases. It's another masterclass from Mikel Arteta. 7 changes tonight, but you wouldn't notice. This Arsenal side just carry on. They roll on like a machine, and they've come to the San Siro against one of Europe's finest. An 18-game unbeaten run at home was halted by Liverpool, and now Arsenal have added to that misery for Inter, who've lost 3 times in succession in Europe and now face the real possibility of not making the top 8 and automatic qualification for the knockout phases. It's a stunning performance from Arsenal tonight. Gabriel Jesus with 2, Victor Gyökeres with 1. The reply from Petr Sučić from Inter. They had their chances on the night, the Italians, but all in all, it is Arsenal's night. 7 out of 7, the top of the Champions League, and arguably, right now, the kings of Europe. Finished Inter 1, Arsenal 3. Alvin, we've said it, and we've been saying it for the last few minutes. I mean, just the perfect night. The yellow cards, the goals for Jesus, Gyökeres coming on as well, and the experience as well of playing in this kind of environment against this kind of side. This all bodes well for Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, look, every team that in the world that's playing football at the moment wants to be where Arsenal are, because every player that he brings on is full of confidence. Every player that he takes off and he gets it right. they don't complain because they all buy into what he's trying to do. Players that you think, okay, we need him to get some goals. We need him just in case we need to back up and centre forward. Jesus was magnificent tonight. I thought Saka, as captain, he's not a shouter, a holler. He just led by example, and every time he got the ball, I thought something was going to happen. Tactically, they know what to do in every eventuality. They were asked a lot of questions tonight, Adam, but they didn't panic when they were under pressure, when they're sometimes under siege. They just reacted, they stood tall, and they were together as a team. There wasn't anything I think I could criticise tonight. And to go to a place as difficult as this and take the game to the opposition from the get-go, it was brilliant.
You've watched a lot of football over the years, Alvin. Is this the best Arsenal side since probably the last Arsenal side that came here with the likes of Henry, Lundberg, Pires? I mentioned Ray Parlour, Keown was around that side, Edu. I mean, they were the likes that came here over 20 years ago and won. This looks like the most complete Arsenal team since that kind of era.
Yeah, well, I think this Arsenal team has got the potential to be better. They've got to see it through, and they've got to win things. That's what the other team did. But they're not reliant on any one player. I think there were times when Henry was the superstar, wasn't he? He would get them out of trouble. They can't rely on that. This is a team of a different sort of fashion. But yeah, I know to come here tonight into this sort of what I thought was impressive is Arsenal really have got themselves in a position where they didn't really need to win this game. They could have just taken their foot off the pedal a little bit, Adam. And I thought that might have been the edge that Inter, because they were desperate to win this game and needed to win it more. But you know what? Arsenal came here, it didn't make any difference. You looked at the desire of both teams. Arsenal's was certainly equivalent and better than Inter's.
All right, it's time to pick our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here For It hero on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Tough one for you tonight, Alvin. I mean, Jesus, couple of goals, but I mean, you've been waxing lyrical about Saka for most of the evening. Declan Rice came on and just upped it a little bit for Arsenal as well. Where are you going with your choice?
Yeah.
Ci avete provato? Siete rimasti?
Martinelli as well. But look, I think Saka was brilliant from the get-go, and he kept going, and he was a thorn in the side of Inter all night. But you know what? When you see a player go through the sort of problems that Jesus has had, major injury, and then come back in, and he did everything. It wasn't just the 2 goals tonight, Adam. He led the line. He was exactly what they needed. He pressed. I haven't seen Arsenal press as well as that for a long time, and he was the one that made that decision. He's the first one to go. So Jesus for me tonight was outstanding. He's my man of the match.
As the man of the match, Here For It hero with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.